In this video blog, we will review the process of managing financial periods and dates. Sun Systems offers two functions which can be used to open and close periods and dates. We will look at those in a minute. First, let's talk about things that should be done as you prepare to change periods and dates. It is, of course, standard accounting practice to print all audit trail reports prior to changing a financial period, and that practice is also necessary when using Sun Systems. First, print out the account listings, journal listings, and the trial balance that you're going to need before changing the period. If you work in a multi-user environment, you must take into consideration the effect that the period change is going to have on other users' work. A period change may impact other users who are logged into the system. If a user is working in ledger entry and you change the period, her posting will be registered in the period which was in effect at the time she logged in, as long as she continues to work in the ledger entry form she opened before you change the period. However, if she goes to a second ledger entry form, or if she opens ledger entry after you change the period, her work is going to be posted in the new period. If you're unsure about the other users in your office, you may want to wait until all users are logged out of the system before you change a period. There are two functions which can be used to modify periods: change period and ledger setup. Let's go to change period. Here is my function. It's simply called change period. I'm going to click on that. This is one of the simplest of all Sun Systems function forms. It consists of exactly one field. In this field, we can simply type in the new period. So I'm going to open period 8 of the year 2013. And then I'm going to click OK. I'm going to get a warning message that the current period has been amended, and I can click OK. Notice down in the very lowest corner of the right-hand side of the screen that my period has now been changed to period 8 of 2013. Couldn't get any easier than that, could it? Now let's take a look at ledger setup. Ledger setup is the second function that we can use to change dates. In ledger setup, you can make more involved period modifications than you can in change period. As you can see, there's more involved to the screen. You can also change open dates using this period. The relevant fields for period and date modifications are all located on the General tab, which is the first tab that should open when you come to Ledger Setup. If we want to change the current period or the open periods and dates, we need to click the Amend button. Here, just like in the last screen, we can simply type in the new period into the current period field. Let's change now to period 9 of 2013. Notice that directly under current period field, there are two open period fields. This is because you could have a range of periods open in Sun Systems at any time. Users can post to any period within the open range, so if a user needs to go back to a previous period, they can do so. And this is where you have some options of how you want to set up your period range. For instance, you could enter the same period into both fields if you wanted to limit the open periods to a single period. By entering period 9 of 2013 in the From and To fields, you limit users posting to that single period. You can also use relative values. You can enter a C, for instance, in the From field, and the C stands for current period. So if you set up a relative value, the system will automatically make those period changes for you, and this C would allow postings to the current period. Again, I could enter that C into the From and To fields to limit postings to that single period. When the current period changes, the open periods would change as well. For instance, I can enter a -3 into the open period from field and then enter a +3 in the open period to field. And this will set my open periods from 3 months prior to the current period through 3 months after the current period. If I wanted to place no restrictions at all on the posting periods, I can simply leave both fields blank, and then the user can post into any period at any time. I'm going to open a year's worth of periods, so I will type January of 2013 into the from field to December of 2013 into the to field. And this way I have 1 year's worth of periods open. Moving down the screen, we find another set of fields. These are the open dates fields. Again, you can open a range of dates. Postings can only be made to open dates. So if you want to have, let's say, 3 periods open simultaneously, you must be sure that all of the relevant dates for those 3 periods are also open. Here again, you can use relative values. For instance, if I enter a T in the from field, the open dates will begin with today's date. T stands for today. And then you can put whatever to date that you would like. Or you can put a T there as well, and then the postings would be limited to today's date. Just like with open periods, we can enter a relative date here as well. I can enter -15 in the from field, and then a +15 in the to field, and then my system will be available for posting from 15 days prior to today's date to 15 days after today's date. Again, like is true with the open period fields, if I leave both fields blank, there are no restrictions on posting by date. Dates of January 1, 2013 through December 31st, 2013. And then I'm going to click OK. Down at the very bottom of the left-hand side of the screen, we notice that there is a note to the effect that the record has been amended. And if we look at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, we will notice that the period is now 9 of the year 2013. So that is how you can modify and control the dates and the periods in which posting can be done into the system.